Our next inductee came to Clarion after player stops at Duke and St. Joseph's and coaching stops at Washington State, Iowa, and Southern Cal. And that certainly paid off for Clarion. For Clarion basketball fans, were able to watch him go on to win 402 career games, 18 winning seasons, and as Dr. Anderson said, 3 West titles and a PSAC championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Ryder. Maybe we should have you and Guy on a podcast after this is all over.
All night.
I think I'd like to have the ladies talk about some of the practices. I think that might be like 1 or 2 hours.
Those teams, I remember very clearly, most of them right now, they were awesome. They were awesome. They were fun to watch. You know, a lot of our guys come out early. See that those couple years, they were, and they're wonderful, wonderful.
You had the, I think, fortunate to actually coach 8 years at 3 Division I schools with George Raveling. Anybody that knows basketball knows George is a heck of a coach. And of course, you learned a lot from him. But you decided to come to Clarion. Why?
Well, she's right over there. My wife, Julie, well, it started before my wife got involved with it. We were out at USC. I was an assistant out there with Coach, and we really missed the East. We were Pennsylvania, raised in Pierce County. And we missed the 4 seasons, and I was really hankering to be a head coach. And my dad calls me from Tampa. My mom and dad were down in Tampa, and sees this ad in the paper, in the Tampa Tribune, for an opening at Clarion University. And I said, well, you know, where is that? And he goes, oh, I don't. And one thing led to another, and then my dad did a little of the legwork and found it was in Western PA. Now, born and raised in Eastern PA, you got to understand that, you know, anything west of the Susquehanna River might as well be Oklahoma. So we looked into it, and we said, well, why not? And I had just got back from an interview at Augusta College, Georgia. I loved Georgia, and it looked like I was going to get the AD job and head coaching job there, but didn't work out. They gave it to someone else. This is how God works. I mean, maybe that's not the job for you. You got something else in mind. So we checked it out, and I said, we'll send our stuff in. Send it in. One thing led to another. I come in for the interview. I take a red eye and drive up here to Clarion and meet with Frank Lignelli, and I think Bob Carlson was in that committee, John Shropshire. I think Lou Tripodi may have been in that, sure. But long story short, I was here about an hour and a half. Got in the car, went back to Pittsburgh Airport, took the plane back to the West Coast. So my wife goes, how'd it go? I said, what? Really good. You know, it was good back in Pennsylvania, whatever. So my wife gets this call. I'm at work at USC. There's no cell phones back then. It was all landlines and everything. And my wife gets this call from Frank. Well, Julie, what do you think? Would you like to come to Clarion? So he recruits my wife, and I come home from work. He goes, hey, Frank Lignelli's going to call you tonight, and he wants to talk to you. Before we even talked, it was over. She says, yeah, we're coming. And Frank called that night, and we said, yes, we'll come. And we loaded up the vans, and a couple weeks later, we were on our way to.
You had some great players here at Clarion. 15,000 point scorers. That's pretty good. You were blessed. You had Kwame Ward, a couple players also here tonight.
Yeah, 2,000 points.
Yeah.
Jamie Pollock, Dave.
Talk about what made them special, and what did you see special in them?
Well, definitely on these two that are here tonight. If if I had which I do, I have a son that did play, but anyone that would have a son, they'd be proud to have them as they were not only great players, wonderful young men. And both of those young men there, they epitomized hard work and tenacity and putting the extra time in, as we know that it takes to play at this level, any level. They did it. They played injured. They played hurt. They did everything they could. I thought about it, if we had both of them during playoff runs, especially during the NCAA run, both in their time suffered some injuries and they missed time. But I told Dave tonight, and I would tell Jamie right now, I would take them on one leg and a lot of the two legs. That's how what I think of them. Kwame Morton was someone that you get once in a lifetime. And that's the reason for Kwame Morton is man right over there, Coach Al Modrzejewski, who I hope one day he is sitting up here.
If I might interject, Kwame Morton just received a distinguished award, I believe. So, here at Clarion.
Yes, Kwame Morton, he came in as a freshman, and it wasn't going well early. He's from Brooklyn, New York, coming to Clarion. And Al did overtime. I mean, he had to work overtime to make sure that we didn't lose Kwame, because we knew what we had. I think if that was now, today, we never would have gotten. But we knew early, we brought him into the Grove City scrimmage, and he was, as a freshman, comes into the scrimmage and gets about 30 points scrimmage. So Al and I looked and said, I think we need to make a move. So from that day on, he started 4 years. One of the best pure shooters I've been around. He would get 30, 40 points a game, and I'd look over at Al with a Slippery Rock game. We loved beating Slippery Rock. They were really good. We loved beating Slippery Rock. And the best wins, though, is when you beat the Cows and the IUPs. They were the top dog, and any time you would beat them, you didn't sleep. And the bus rides were great, too, weren't they, Gage? Especially when the girls would win, and we'd win, and they were great. We'd stop for ice cream. It was great. But the one game, the Slippery Rock, Kwame, I thought he had about 25 points. He scored 26 straight points. Second half. And he ended up with 56. He ended up with 56 points against Slippery. But that young man, he could shoot.
Yeah, 26 straight. Just think about that. You're watching a basketball game. Only one guy is scoring all your points, 26 straight points. It's almost unheard of.
Well, we did run a lot of things for him. Then we have a lot of plays for him. Like we ran for Dave and Jamie. If I had shooters, Al recruited 13 time that he was here, 13.
All right, I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit. So 97 to 2005, you won 70% of your game, 171, 79. I'm going to bring up a bad thing that I don't have on your question, then I'm going to bring up a good thing. So in 2000, we are wiping everybody off the map. PSAC West champ, nobody can touch it. We're playing right here on this floor. We're playing Slippery Rock. And some of the guys decided to come out with headbands on. The look on your face when they come out with the headbands on, we didn't do too well.
Yes,
But just how the Lord works in mysterious ways. the very next year, you're having a good year, but not a great year. Then all of a sudden, you do it like you always do, a masterful job, and you catch fire and you win the state championship. I want to talk about this a little
Yeah, that was a magical year because we had to go up to Edmund Blooms, Westchester in the final. Westchester had the best programs in the state for years, and we had a lot of respect for each other, the head coach and I. And it came down, we were down 3, and they had their best foul shooter on the line with seconds to go. So if he hits 2 foul shots, there was a heck of a state. Sure enough, he missed 2. We run that thing down the floor, and Raleigh Smith pulls up 30 ties it up, and we end up winning the game. And what a joy that was. Be able to get West, well, not the West State, that game. And I remember coming home on the bus. I think they had dinner going on, and they listened to the radio. Would have been the auction, maybe, or it was one of the events going on, and they were greeted us. So many of our friends that are sitting back, look at it, Jim and Lydia, that were there, Hal Wassick sitting at our table. They were there. I think Kevin and Carol Roth, and the joy for it was not just for the team and for the players, I mean, but for the community to be able to come off that coverage we got. It was really, really special.
Yeah, and it just goes to show if you keep grinding, good things happen. And that was certainly a magical 2001 season. One last thing, I'm going to skip over the summer camps.
You can't.
You want?
Oh, you can't.
All right, go ahead. Summer
5
camps.
seconds.
Go ahead.
Dee and I, for years, ran summer camps together. That's some of the best we've had in life. We raised, as all the coaches, athletic summer camp. I'm going to tell you what, we never complained. We had a lot of fun with those kids. A lot of those kids to this day. I hear more from summer camp than anybody anywhere. And I'm sure Gabe probably the same way because of the experience they had. We taught well, played well, kids enjoyed it. That's,
with your Division I experience and overseas experience, you had some really great clinicians come in,
yes,
too.
we did.
You want to just mention a couple of them?
Well, you had my college coach in the pros, Jack Kinney, come up, so assistants, a lot of the big, and I had Craig Elo come in who played in the pros for a while, and Craig was the one that started Michael Jordan get that shot, say it on ESPN, couldn't guard Mike. Craig come in, he played for us at Washington State over the years, and he had similar people.
You love baseball.
Yes, sir.
Would you say you love baseball almost even more than basketball? Is it close?
It's real close. Yeah. I'm a baseball.
I begged you on this one. You want to? I'm not sure anybody out there would remember, but Enos Slaughter was I think a 10-time All-Star with the St. Louis Cardinals, and he was a coach of yours at Duke.
Yeah,
you want to tell an Enos Slaughter story?
Yeah, he was that was the toughest decision really to transfer from Duke to St. Joe was the baseball piece. I loved him. Enos would, at his age, 60s, whatever he was, he'd step that practice at the end of practices, and we'd be pitching, especially freshmen, and he'd get really upset if we didn't throw our best stuff. He'd charge the mound at us. He said, he called me Turkey Man. I said, Turkey Man, you better throw your best stuff. He says, I'll spin your cap. So now I'm upset. So I start really, he called it. Shot to left center, shot to right center, spin your cap. He about knocked my head off. He's in his 60s time, I never seen he had pop. you know, the Peace Army. Last story on him, he chewed tobacco, dugout. We were in the bullpen most times. Dugout was filled with spit, dugout, cup things. So we were young and we thought we'd chew tobacco out the bullpen. I got awful sick. We were playing Wake Forest. It was a night game, and I see him down there warm up. So, oh man, I'm hallucinating because I'm trying to chew tobacco. And I said, I can't throw. The next pitch, before I had to probably go in the next inning, guy hits the lights, breaks the lights, game's canceled at Wake Forest. I have to pitch. So I'm outside the bus throwing up, trying to get back to campus. So it was a good night.
Before we go, so how about some thank yous for you?
Well, I got to thank my wife, who's been behind me every step of the way of all those moves with young children and whatever. Thank you, honey, and what a troop. I have Emily with me tonight. She was my good luck charm. I don't think we ever lost when Emily sang the national anthem from grade school right through. I needed a win one night. She was in Carnegie Mellon. I said, you got to come up. We got to win this game, get in the playoffs. And she come up, sang, and we won. So that hasn't changed. But, of course, Coach Al and Chris Rossetti there at our table just covered us like you did, Rich. Did a wonderful job. That table back there with Brookses and Hartwicks and the Whitlings, Ross. I mean, your family. This is family for us. We've been away a while, but coming back here was very special. And I want you to know that this is home. And we miss you guys, but when we come back and see all of you, resurrect a lot of the relationships or whatever, I'll tell you what, doesn't change. Family, friends, and that genuineness never change. And it's a special.
Ron Ryder, Hall of Famer.